This is Things Police See, First-Hand Accounts, with your host, Steve Gold.
Welcome to the podcast that interviews active and retired police officers about their most intense, bizarre, and sometimes humorous moments on the job. It is I, Old Gingerface, here with you as always. Thank you for finding the show. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Going to bring you right to the guest because not that you even know of. We've attempted to do this 3 times. We've been having technical difficulties, and I don't want to take too much of the guest's time up, so I want to get right to him. Excited to have him. Sent to me by a fan of the show, the great Tom Hamilton, friend from church, also a 31-year veteran of the Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff's Department. He was on SWAT. He was on HDT, which is Hazardous Device Team. Sounds like bomb squad type stuff. And dive team member. Without further ado, let me bring on the great Billy Perry. Billy.
Hey, Steven, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Thank you for coming on, brother. Honored to have you.
Honored to have you. Honored to be here. Thank you so much. I'm humbled, actually.
Oh, that's great, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is like I love these kind of guests where someone who's listened to the show not a lot knows somebody in their real life and is like they know like this guy's got this experience. These are the gold nuggets I need to get a hold of. You know, 31 years with Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff's Department. That's no joking around. That place is pretty serious.
It's pretty hopping.
Yeah, heck yeah. And it's Florida, so you know it's going to be good.
Exactly. We definitely have our share of Florida man. It's 842 square miles.
Wow. That's
the
big.
Jurisdiction. Yep. And the hazardous device team, the bomb squad, like you said, we were responsible for 13 counties. The dive team was responsible for almost that many counties too. And we did a lot with UWASI.
That's awesome. And so on the bomb team, were you the guy that was like cut the blue wire? That guy?
I was one of many, probably the worst. We had several. We had 2 teams actually, and I was blessed enough to be a team leader at the end for one of the teams, and super humbled by literally I was probably the worst. I was okay at CQB, but my bomb skills were not as good as most of the other guys.
You didn't want to tell him that when you were still on the job, but now you're comfortable telling him. That's awesome. So when you go to become like a bomb tech, that's got to be a big school.
It was a big school. That was actually a heavy lift. That was my last one that I did. I started out as a diver. I was a diver for 10 years. Then I joined the SWAT team. I was on the SWAT team for several years. And then in the end, I joined the bomb squad, the hazardous device team, the hazardous device unit, because of what I was thinking would be retirement opportunities. And they are plentiful and many, but I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah. A buddy of mine I went to high school with that did, he was in the Navy, ended up overseas and did a couple tours there. And then he ended up on the EOD team. And now he's like a supervising special agent for the State Department. So I actually don't even know what he does now, but he's like in like South America. Oh, shoot. We froze. Bill, you still got me?
Yeah, we unfroze. I got you.
All right, sweet. Yeah, so bomb squad, man, I don't know. I was actually just talking about this with a bunch of other cops the other day. I don't think I could ever do it. I mean, just the moment where you get that close to the device, you got to pick it up and put it in the little chamber you guys have to blow it up.
I mean, truthfully, it's an old saying, but it's valid as ever. You come up with a plan, you talk it out with your friends, you implement the plan, and if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, it's not your problem anymore.
Yeah. Hey, it's one way to look at it. The only thing I ever saw him blow up was I was a cop in Cape Cod for years, and they used to find the old the fishing boats would drag up like old shells that didn't blow up when they were shooting at like an old target ship.
UXO.
Yeah, and they would just take those and put them into the chamber thingy and kaboom.
Yeah.
And I was never sure, like, was it the round going off or was it just a det cord like destroying the thing?
Yeah. You don't know until you do it.
Right. Yeah, very cool, man. So 31 years is a very long time to be a copper, especially with all those high intensity specialties. Can you take us back to when you were a young Officer Perry or Deputy Perry on the street to your first call that, like, you know, gave you a little adrenaline dump?
Yeah. Funny because I did 27 years active, and then the next 5 or 4, actually, the next 4, I was hired back as a trainer. I was a training officer. So I did 27 years. I was sworn the whole time, but I did 27 years as an active. I was super blessed with my career. Truthfully, I did almost 3 years as a corrections officer. Learned a lot. Uh, that is a horrific job. Truthfully, learned a
Agree.
lot. Still have dear friends from there. And then I went to the street with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. They made me a patrol officer. And I got in my first shooting 2 days, 2 hours, and 10 minutes out of FTO.
Whoa.
And yeah, but and it was kind of it was a pretty good one. And so I didn't have a lot of adrenaline dumps after that. I had a couple, but believe it or not, things were pretty. I was pretty inoculated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you got a little baptism by fire, as they call it. What
Yeah.
was can you talk about the circumstances surrounding the shooting?
Sure. Another officer and I were dispatched to a disturbance, and we get there, and it wasn't a disturbance. It was a domestic, and um, it was an estranged husband and father from New York that had. I saw we froze up. An estranged father, husband. This was in 1993. This was pre-internet. He had found the family. They had fled from New York City to get away from him, and had sought shelter down here. He found them. It was December 23rd. Christmas lights were everywhere, and he had found them and had been tormenting them for an entire afternoon at least. He cut the phone cords, had held them hostage, and was going to stab the mother, and the daughter, who was older, got in the way, and she got stuck. And the son, who was a cerebral palsy child, he was 13, but he looked like he was 5, was in a wheelchair, and the father tried to drag him outside, and they fell. So when we got there, the father was laying on top of the child with a knife to his chest. And we actually talked to him for 50 seconds, and then we both shot him simultaneously. And I've been on my own 2 days, 2 hours, and 10 minutes. And he died, obviously.
Wow.
Which, fine. And the daughter came running across the street afterwards. And I'm like, "You've got to stop, ma'am. You have to stop. I didn't know she was the daughter. She was coming from across the street. And she had been stabbed, and she didn't realize it. Oh, she knew she'd been stabbed. She didn't know how bad it was. She went across the street to call the police and was watching through the window of the kitchen, and I was having difficulty breathing, came running across. We found out she'd been stabbed. So it was a life flight. It was a shooting. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy.
Wow, man.
But that was right into my career. It's like, hello.
Yeah, everything from that. That's a high bar to drop the adrenaline after you go through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you find it, like a call like that? Did you lose sleep over it, or did it make you excited to be a cop?
Actually, it really didn't affect. What affected me was the way other people treated me. And I think at the time it was a different era. I was read my Miranda right. I mean, I was treated amazingly. Like the detectives that did it, we're dear friends to this day. He actually did my next shooting too, whatever. But as a homicide detective, I was never without a gun. We traded guns. I was so naive. He said, "I need to check your gun." I'm like, "There's no need. It's perfect. It's working really, really well." And he's like, "No, I have to take it." It was cute. You know what I mean? The naivete.
Yeah.
But I had his Glock 19. He had my 7. I mean, it was, we swapped guns. But when I got to the station, you have to read your rights and initial by them. That's when it's pretty ethereal, and that kind of bothered me. And then when you get for the state attorney, you get a clearance case when they make a decision, and it's in the state of Florida, it's final case disposition, or charge homicide, final case disposition at large, not filed. And that means they're not going to file on it. But to your family, it sounds like on any given Saturday, you're going to be on America's Most Wanted, but no, it didn't really affect me. There are other calls that hit me much harder that affect me to this day.
Okay. Wow. Do you want to talk about one of those most impactful calls you had?
I'll tell you the most impactful call I had. And we have a saying that if you don't have a case number or two witnesses, it didn't happen. This is one that's going to have neither, because of, I want to respect the victim's privacy.
Sure.
And I'm the villain in this. I'm the bad guy. And this changed the way I policed for the rest of my career. There are actually a couple of things that happened, but this is the biggie. I was riding around another young officer, and we were to go take dope boys down off the corner, right? I mean, get guns and drugs, right? And I got a burglary to a residence, and we were going to hit a corner, and I get a burglary to a residence. I'm like, let me go grab the information real quick. I'll grab the information super quick, and then we'll go do that and do real police work, right? Because that's real police work, right? So I go and I get to the victim's house, and she's an average lady in a lower blue collar neighborhood. She was a manager of a cafeteria at a Pick and Save, which was a precursor to a Walmart superstore. And she was working on her schedule on the back of her Chevy Chevette. I'll never forget this. It was a hot day. It was a hot summer day. And I get there and I was curt. I wasn't friendly. I wasn't nice. I was very short because I wanted to go do police work. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so she was very, very sweet. And her VCR, those still existed at the time, her VCR, stereo, one TV was stacked by the back door, but nothing was taken. And she was, will you look here for me? Will you check? I'm like, nothing was taken. This is criminal mischief. Clearly it was a burglary. The guy just didn't take it. Does that make sense? So, but I was wanting to go do police work, Stephen. I was wanting to go do real stuff. So she's like, will you look in the closets? Will you look under here? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, but it's fine. There's nothing here. She said, will you look in the attic? I'm like, how can you get in the attic? It's a disappearing stairwell. I'll look. So I pull the attic down. I climb up. And as soon as my head clears it, there sits this guy, crisscross applesauce, looking at me, has his hands on his knees, and he goes, I think I've made a mistake. And the minute he clears his lips, I go, ah, and I had that sweat on the back of my knees. Truthfully, he lunges at me. I draw, and in one motion, I hit him right across here with the barrel of a Glock 17. Flay him open. You know what happens. He gets me. We're in an embrace. My foot is caught up in the disappearing stairwell ladder. It twists me. We fall, and I land on him, inadvertently knocking all the wind out of him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Inadvertently. And I take him in, and I'm just going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And she thinks I am the most amazing thing ever, and I wasn't. And sexual predators didn't exist at that time. That wasn't a designation, but he would have been one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that changed the way I looked at everything. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, man. Yeah, that's intense. Yeah, so
And,
if you hadn't have found him, then it could have been a whole different story.
oh my gosh, it would have been. And it changed the way I searched. And Betty, when I searched houses, and I found more people than I was like a bird dog. It's funny. My work husband, when I retired, that I trained with, he was retired obviously from JSO also, and one of his neighbors was, and his neighbor and he were talking, and he goes, but he said, man, when Billy would search, bro, I found people in ducks. I found them in the, the obvious pile of dirty laundry. Everybody's found them under sinks, in little trash compactor drawers. I mean, I found them everywhere because, man, when I searched. And I never, truthfully, never cared about drugs and everything else from then on. It was a paradigm shift in the way I policed.
Wow, that's interesting because it's crazy how there is a big push right now, especially with police influencers. It's all about, like, with the street cop training and all that stuff has a place, but it very much is pushing on young cops. You are not a cop unless you were ripping cars, pulling over, shitbag mobiles.
Right.
Like, you were not doing police work. And I can see how if you get in that mindset, then you'd forget about the whole service part.
Right. And buddy, the protection of innocence. As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, the peaceful against violence or disorder, respecting the constitutional rights of all men for liberty, equality, and justice. I still know all those 257 words. And I took that to heart after that. And that was the litmus test, because I don't care about that other. And I also would challenge people, and people that are watching this from JSO that know me, I would challenge people, and I was taken up on it once, almost twice, and they backed out. I'm like, take me anywhere you want and drop me off anywhere in the city of Jacksonville that's densely populated, and I can walk 440 yards, 1/4 of a mile, and I will find you not one, but two amazing. Right. Not one, but two amazing families. And there you go. And I got taken up on it once, and sure enough, and it didn't take me but 100 yards. I mean, I think I went to the second house and the next house. And so it changed the way I looked at everybody, how I policed, what I looked at, everything, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's great. It's great that you're able to share it now, so young officers listening can impact them as well, so it's not maybe not the worst thing that happened the way it did to you.
But it changed the way I policed. That one haunted me though for a long time. My dive victims were the worst also. My sons tease all the time because I don't get grossed out, and I'm not afraid of dark water. I'm not afraid of any of that. They're like, you drank dead people, because, that's one of the things that people don't realize about divers is when you're swimming in people soup, you can, even underwater, you can smell it and you can taste it because you're breathing and it's in your mouth.
Ugh, I didn't know that. Yikes.
There you go. Truth bomb. So.
That might happen to me once, and I'd be like, I gotta get a different specialty.
Right.
ProForce Law Enforcement, the best damn cop shop in the nation. Whether you're purchasing for an entire agency or you're an individual officer looking to buy firearms or duty gear, these guys are the best in the biz. ProForce has law enforcement exclusive pricing and is the place to be buying your guns and duty gear. They carry all the top industry brands, and the guys and gals that work there understand exactly what law enforcement officers need. Special discount link, tps.proforceonline.com. It's deeply discounted items just for the listeners of this show, or you can go to proforceonline.com and shop the whole place. Place is unbelievable. You can also visit Prescott, Arizona in person, or Brea, California in person to get hands-on with the gear. All the contact stuff is in the show notes. Thank you, ProForce.
Bruh. Yeah, but nothing came as close to killing me as diving. But it was that was a great career. And we dove on the bomb squad too. We were responsible for anything under 70 pounds beneath the mean waterline. So, but I'm telling you, I had a great career. I loved it. I have nothing but respect and thanks for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And, it afforded me an opportunity for a simple boy from North Carolina that I would have never had.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy, can you tell us a very strange or bizarre thing you dealt with on the job?
Probably that one. And I have Parkinson's now, and it's from when the doctors were saying, have you had any brain injuries or brain, CTE type things? And my wife was there, and I got, I had a truck dropped on me, and, falling off porches, and bunch of pits and training pits and everything else. It was funny. And, um, I've had so many bizarre things, and I have a dear friend that's dying right now of cancer. His name's Mike Etheridge from St. Augustine PD. And he rode with me as a civilian observer on August 10th, 1998. We had two really brutal fights and a murder. And he's like, I want to go be the police. And, I was talking to him, holding his hand on Friday, and, he's transitioning. And,
Oh,
I say that to say, we had a murdered a boat ramp, and I called it, it went out as an accidental shooting. I mean, it's not an accidental shooting. This is a drug deal gone wrong. Yeah, and as so many are, most of them are NDs, negligent discharges, because bad guys don't have trigger discipline and they inadvertently shoot people. And, there you go.
dang, man. Do you have another question on here? Is your most intense or terrifying call? I think you might have said that, but do you have another one you want to share? Another intense call?
A friend of mine, Tim Willingham, who's also retired, we got stuck inside of a concrete bridge embankment diving.
Oh my God. That gives me the heebie-jeebies hearing it.
We were swimming along. We hit a wall, and we're like, okay, it's not a big deal. We're holding hands. And so we looked at our compasses. We went 45 degrees, hit another wall, went 45 degrees, hit another wall, went 45 degrees, hit another wall. And if you're doing the math, that's 360. So I mean, we've gone in a circle and we're hitting walls. So with no visibility inside this thing that we accidentally swam into because they've been hollowed out by current, we're looking for a dead body underneath the Boatman Bridge and on the St. Johns River. And we did an expanding circle search with a line. We communicated through hand gestures and holding flashlights up to each other's face. And when I found it, I was swimming out, and he was letting out 6 feet at a time. And I found the hole, wrapped it around a piece of rebar. I went back and got him, and we swam out. And they said, "Want to go look over here?" And we're like, "We are done. We're done for the day." And we were laughing about that. And he called me a couple months ago, and we were laughing about that in the truck. My wife was hearing it. That was I got wrapped up in a shrimp net too, my very first dive, and had to cut my way out. That was kind of a funny one. And I surfaced, and I had pieces of the shrimp net on me because I'd cut myself out because shrimp nets are really hard. It was my very first open water dive. Hilarious, because we had gone through a new dive team because of an incident. There was a real misunderstanding, so we had a whole new change of dive team. Now I ended up being on the new one. And I surfaced, and I go, I'm barely breathing. I'm making the tank go in and out. I'm breathing so hard. And we're looking for a truck in the Ribault River. And I looked at the dive commander, who's a friend of mine. I'm like, I got wrapped up in a shrimp net. And he goes, "You're embarrassing me. Get back down there and find the truck." And I'm like, I'm wrapped up in a shrimp net. I cut myself out. That's pretty huge for my very first dive ever, open water dive after being certified. And he's like, "You're embarrassing me. Get back down there and find that truck." So I'm crying, but you can't tell because I'm underwater, so I'm like, these people are animals. I can't believe they're making me do this. So I'm swimming along, and I hit a vehicle. And I'm like, this is probably the truck. So I wrap the cable around something, and I come up, and it's hooked up to it. And they go, "What'd you hook it to?" And I go, "I don't know. We'll see. When it comes up, we'll see what." And it was hooked by the right front tire. I'd run it through a spoke of the wheel. And so they were laughing at me with that. When they picked it up, it was funny. I'm like, I don't care. I found the truck and I picked it up. But yeah, dive team was dangerous. Dive team is an inherently hostile environment that is crazy dangerous.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, that I get, like, it's not like a real problem, but I do have like a little touch of claustrophobia. Like, and I am a certified diver, and I don't, if anything like that were to happen, or I just end the dive because I'll start sucking my tank.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I will suck all my air down.
Yeah. there were a couple times. Once the monkey got on my back when I just kept hitting eddy currents in a trashy marina where a guy died. And I kept coming up underneath this cockroach infested sailboat. Nothing really traumatic. It's just the monkey got on my back. I'm like, and I'm out. I'm done for the night. I'm done. And then another time I was under the main street bridge in Jacksonville and something hit me. And I'm like, it's okay. It's just something hit me. And then something hit me again. I'm like, okay. And then the third time something hit me and I'm like, and I'm out. And I don't know if it was a bull shark, a catfish, a manatee, a dolphin. I don't know. You know what I mean? Big redfish. I don't know. But I'm like, I'm out. And the last thing I'll tell you, I was in a pond and I grabbed an alligator. And I didn't mean to grab an alligator. I'm going along searching and I grab something and I go, that's not a tire. And I feel its foot go through my hands. And I go up and I'm making the tango in and out. I'm like, it's an alligator. And I just grabbed an alligator. And for some reason, there's a biologist from FWC there. And they're like, you just terrified that thing because nothing's grabbed it in 3,000 years. I'm like, I don't think I believe that, but whatever. But yeah, but I was super blessed. Everybody on the dive team was so professional. And now they're insanely professional. I mean, it's crazy how good they are. And I'd never even be able to be on it. The SWAT team is next level. Like I was telling you before, the platforms that they carry and they run with and their proficiency is remarkable. And the hazardous device unit is internationally known. I mean, I'm so proud to have ever been a part of it. And I don't think I could have been on it the way it is today. But I mean, they're amazing and I'm super impressed with them.
When you were on the SWAT team, was it a full-time gig?
Kinda. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I know that's a thing now. Like usually the bigger agencies have the dedicated SWAT. All they do is train.
Right. That's the reason I say kind of pretty much was we did have like 10 sex offenders that we had to contact every month, things like that. Occasionally we would be put on a surveillance or something with homicide or something like that.
Gotcha. Very cool. Billy, do you have a heartwarming encounter from your career?
Oh my gosh. So many. I always, especially after my paradigm shift, I would befriend old people. And I always told my recruits and all of you that are listening, this is good advice. I always made good enough friends with at least one person on my beat, not with an ulterior motive, but it just happened to be a side thing. Because I would lay down my life for these people. And I didn't plan on it. I plan on killing everybody to save them. You know, I'm a patent guy. Let the other dude die for his cause, not you for yours. But
Right.
I would always make dear enough friends that I could just go up to him and go, I got to go to the bathroom. And I could take my gun belt off in their bathroom, and you know what I mean?
Yep.
And use the bathroom. But I made friends with so many old people, and I went to so many funerals, and I ate Thanksgiving dinners in my sector, and Easter dinners in my sector, and had so many dear friends. Played football all way before community policing was a thing. I was full-time quarterback, you know what I mean? And
That's great.
I would go for walks all the time. And yeah.
That's great.
But I befriended so many. I had so many, and they would give me things, apples, and like I said, feed me all the time. And precious people. And I'll tell you, it's like I said as a CO, and I don't care what people think. It's the beauty of being retired and 60 with Parkinson's. 98% of the people in the jail are terrible. 99% of the people wherever I rode were amazing.
You're talking about the inmates, right? Not the
right. Yeah. And no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, the inmates. But the people that are, no matter what's, where what the demographics or the socioeconomic area that I rode in, amazing. And I love them. They love me.
Yeah, I found that too when for a short time, just under 2 years, I did background investigations when I was in California for LAPD, and I went into South LA, East LA, and I also worked with a bunch of Black and Hispanic background investigators. So they'd always look at the neighborhood and tell me like, should I bring a partner or not, type of thing, and they knew the area, but they said the same thing, and they were right. They said 99% of the people you rap on their door, they're going to be sweethearts. Like there's so many good people in the ghetto that they don't want to be there either, but they're just good, normal people. They invite you in and give you food.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. And I always, and when I was trained at the academy, and I always said, you drink the tea and you eat the food.
Yep.
I've eaten the cake and I pulled the hair out of it and put it away and kept eating.
Yep.
And now I've eaten honey. I would buy honey drippers for everybody in the neighborhood. I'd bring all the kids. Who's got the best honey drippers today? Let's go get them. And they're little sugar water frozen pops that they make and sell out of their houses, and for however much, 25, 50 cents, $1. And I'd buy them for everybody.
Yeah, it's important. It really is. Communing with people, having food and drink with people is, when you're younger, like I'll be on the road, like directing traffic or doing a road detail. And, I have a gallon of water in my car. I bring so much water, and people will stop and a bottle of water will go out the window. And I used to go, no, I'm all set. I already have some. And you could always see that little register of like disappointment, like, oh, trying to offer you something.
Take the water.
Now I just take it and I throw it in my car. Even if I don't drink it, I take it. I even had an FBI agent once come up to me, and he bought me and 3 other guys on this road job, Dunkin' Donuts, and he got out of his car and he's like, just because I don't want you guys dumping these out when I leave. He took out his retired credentials and he's like, I'm retired FBI special agent from Boston. There's nothing in these coffees. I want you to have them. And I was like, I will 100% drink that coffee now.
Absolutely. You definitely drink that. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it is really important. Even when I had a short stint when I wasn't in law enforcement, right when I got out of college, I went into sales, and it was a thing there too. They're like, you go to someone's like a home meeting with somebody for their financial portfolio, and the wife wants to give you tea or coffee or a cookie. You don't care if it's a plate of dog crap. You're eating it, because you're
eating it. 100%. I'll tell you something else that I did and that I always taught, and this was a big thing of mine. Number one, my name tag said Billy Perry, and everybody called me Billy. They all called me Billy. And I'm still Billy. And I also shook everybody's hand. I shook their hand, and I shook their hand. And the reason I did this was, I wanted to show that I didn't think I was better than them. That I would extend my hand. Number two, that I'm not afraid to touch you.
Right.
And number three, I would let them know that there was a man on the other side of that arm, and I would shake their hand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if they wouldn't shake my hand, made them look like a dick, not me.
Right.
I'd be like, and everybody knew it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's huge. And I think, I think that goes a long way in not tearing, not building walls that are divisive. And I'll tell you, everybody talks about the good old days of police work. And I think, and then people used to say, man, back in the day, I'm like, back in the day, it was honestly pretty terrible. I mean, I started, the end of 90, beginning of 91 in the sheriff's office, and we had to get our cars serviced on duty. I could never write in a report that I punched you in the face. Couldn't write it. I had to write something like, I was attempting a Gerber Palm Hill strike and you turned and I inadvertently struck you in the left upper ocular area. It's a lie.
Yeah.
In Jackson, and now you can write, I punched him in the face. Now you can write, I kicked him. You know what I mean?
Plain language.
Just right. But I actually had very few responses to resistance. It just didn't happen. I never tased anybody, not on a SWAT call out. I never pepper sprayed anybody. I punched people. Because the batteries never went bad on my fists. You know what I mean? And once everything was done, it was done. I rode by myself a lot in remote areas. But it was a great career, and I'm very thankful. And I think it's a better time now because of what I'm saying. And I think body cams, while they're inconvenient at times, they have exonerated exponentially more people than they have hemmed up.
Absolutely.
100%. And
yeah, they thought they're not pushing for him anymore because they thought we got him. And then all the cops got him and they were like, well, whatever.
Right. I tell you, in 2009, they were talking about Axon at the time, Taser. They were talking about putting them on glasses, and I'm like, I'll wear them. I just want to cut of the proceeds because it's going to be funny. I mean, because I'm not going to change a thing that I do,
Right.
and and I knew the wicked flee when no one pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. And and that's on the law enforcement memorial, and it's Proverbs, and it's so true. And if you're doing right, bro, you're doing right. And Romans 13 tells you, you don't carry the sword for nothing. And if you're doing good, they'll tell you you're doing good. And if you're doing bad, they don't carry the sword for nothing. And,
I like it.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
And now I do this and it's ridiculous.
That's a little different, huh?
It's so fun.
Billy, can you tell us, this is a real popular question on the show for people who are, a lot of people listening are thinking about being cops, or they're on the fence, but then they hear you guys tell your experiences and they decide to become cops. So what advice would you give to new police officers?
Whoever you choose to be a partner, a life partner with, your significant other, your spouse, for me, it's my wife. They need to understand what's going to happen and what you're going to see and how it affects you. And I have friends that were in the upper tier of the military, and they're now police officers. And one of them's a dear friend, Sean O'Dowd, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, the stuff that we see as police is crazy." And I think that I would just have somebody you can talk to. Don't internalize a lot of this stuff, and accept the fact that you're not going to be the same. You're going to go through a little bit of a change, a little bit of a transition. And I would recommend having a close relationship with Christ, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would. Doesn't fix everything, but it definitely helps.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've had guests on before that fellow Christians, and we always we kind of ponder, like, how do you even do the job without leaning on Christ,
I agree. I totally agree. Because you deal with so much brokenness, and you deal with so much trauma, and like I said, the people that I killed and broke, I don't care, truthfully. I've had much more compunction over animals because I'm a hunter. I've had much more compunction over animals that I've killed than I have them, truthfully, because they were horrible humans making horrible decisions, doing terrible things in a do-right zone. And, but the innocents that I saw that were victimized and brutalized, those haunt me to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. And I've never had to do that and take someone's life on duty, but I often look at it that way, where you're given this authority. You are, and the Bible even speaks of the law and 100%. the punishments. And if it's righteous, then, what do you have to feel sorry for?
Right. Absolutely. And I think back all the time, literally to this day, 30 years later, to the attic.
Yeah.
And it still steers my course.
Amazing. I'm sure that wasn't a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you though, and she sung my praises, which she should have.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Billy, it was an absolute honor to have you on the show, brother. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and telling us some stories.
Absolutely. I hope I didn't disappoint.
No, they were fantastic. Don't worry, I'm going to do some editing here and patch this baby together. It happens. Sometimes it's just a bad internet day. That's just,
I get it. Well,
but,
thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I know you got to get back to work. So, let's keep in touch. We have each other's numbers,
Absolutely.
And I will let you know when the show is going to drop, and so you can have the links for it.
Perfect. You're the best. Thank you, my man.
All right, brother. Thank you. Take care.
All right, brother. You too. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Billy Perry. Great story. Super fun. Florida never disappoints. But man, what a great, just a great outlook on life. And that's how you do it. That's how you do 31 years in a major metropolitan area and don't lose your mind. You gotta have an attitude like Billy does. Very cool. Thank you to Tom Hamilton for connecting me to him. Fantastic. I love getting hooked up with guests that way. This is the time in the show when I thank the Patreon sponsors. Now, if you've been listening to the show, you've heard all the episodes and you say, man, this is really great free content. I love it. I would love to support the producer of the show, which is yours truly, Old Gingerface. You can do that through the link in the show notes. It's, you can do 5, 10, 15, 20, all different levels. But if you do sergeant or above, you will get a shout out on the Things Police See podcast. And that's who I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about, these are the lieutenants, the great and powerful Andy Biggs. New Lieutenant Joey Langley. Joey, thank you, sir. The great Kyle Roberts. Michael Roach from Roach Machines AI Solutions. Thank you, sir. The great Thomas Connell. Thank you, sir. Now to the sergeants. Adam McMahon, Adam Mehal, Brad Thompson, Brett Lee, Dan Carlson from Burley Boards. Check him out on Instagram. Great woodworker. Sherry Finch, Clark Luckoff, Dennis Carrasquillo, my man. Doug and Kelly Newman, love you guys. Have fun in Wyoming. Dylan Mosher, everybody. The great Elliot Sykes. Gabriel Decknop, oh, thank you. The great Gary Steiner. George Cariotis, you are the man. Thank you, sir. Greg Gabboy. Jackson Dalton, the Black Box Safety. Thank you, Jackson. Jason LaBrie, ladies and gentlemen. The great Jason Lau. John Jordan. John Shoemaker. John and Aaron Kate, love you guys. See you at church. Lauren Stimson, the handsome Lane Campbell. Lisa Godot, thank you, Lisa. Marcus Johansson, ladies and gentlemen. Iceman from Motor Cop Chronicles, check out his podcast. Nancy Hammond, thank you, Madame. The great Paul Maloney, past guest, great episode, thank you, Paul. Sergeant Raymond Arsenal, thank you, Big Ray. Richard Tolles, keep on trucking, brother, stay safe out there. The great Sasha McNabb, the great Sam Conway, everybody, come on. Scott Young, Sean Clifford, the great Seth Wright, Ronald Long, Sheriff Ron Longview, thank you very much. Tammy Walsh, everybody. Tony Fahey, Zachary Fleet, and the great George Tessier. Thank you, my man. Love you. See you at church. Guys, those are the Patreon sergeant and above. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And as always, I love you guys, and I will see you next week.